This episode of Ike Sermons is brought to you by the Smoke of the Week. Red Ted Bundy.
Finding things out about yourself that you just don't like. Are mommy and daddy really grandma and grandpa? Are you digging through the trash for porn, but you really just want something more? Just need that escape?
Red Ted Bundy.
Red Ted Bundy tastes like melted fat and has the pleasant aroma of tanning leather.
Warning, Red Ted Bundy may lead to deviant sexual behavior, abuse of corpses, antisocial personality disorder, or narcissistic personality disorder.
Red Ted Bundy. You can blame it on the TV.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Fear. Good band except for the homophobia. But seriously, let's look at what FDR, a president I actually had a level of respect for, says in this statement.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
If the only thing you have to fear is fear, then aren't you in a perpetual state of fear? The thing that you fear? Now I'm pretty certain that what he meant was, let's stop being scary little bitches
Stop being a bitch and come on.
so we can get shit done. But it was made into a catchphrase. And I hate most catchphrases. Like,
those who fail to plan to fail.
I mean, think about the wording. Those who fail to plan to plan to fail. You just nullified the first half of your cute little catchphrase. Say what the fuck you mean. Stop trying to be cute. But speaking of cute, back to fear. People try to overcome fear and aloofness with inspirational bullshit sayings, such as this gem. False evidence appearing real. Let's pretend that whatever you're afraid of isn't even there. Granted, it might not be, but to assume that because you're afraid of something, it doesn't exist or you don't need to be afraid of it? I personally don't fear death, but many people do. Does that mean they're not going to die? Is that false evidence? All the bodies we've buried and burned up?
Cemeteries are a scam.
Bullshit cutesy phrase. Actually, it's an acronym, but some fears are justified. Let's take a look at one definition of fear. It's an emotion. And though I value logic above emotions, let's get a little inspirational ourselves. It's not about having the emotion. It's about what you do with it, or in spite of it. So fear is an emotion, and you feel the way you feel. But there are ways to deal with it. Fear comes from within inside, but it can be activated from outside sources. Try to identify where it's coming from. Is it coming from inside your head? Or is there an outside source? Some people want you to be afraid. And some people would rather that you not be afraid of things that perhaps you should. There's an adrenaline that comes from fear. Sometimes we like to be scared. That's why at Halloween, people like to go to haunted houses or watch scary movies. They tell stories around the campfire. When you hear an unfamiliar noise, fear can save you from that wild animal about to pounce. Fear can also cause anxiety over things that just aren't there. Discovering the source of your fear will let you know whether it's rational fear or irrational. Identifying your fear as rational can quell it to the level of concern, while irrational fear can have you scared of toiletries. Now, I always thought that people's biggest fear was the fear of the unknown, which in my opinion would be why people make up things to comfort themselves so that they have some sense of knowing, turning the unknown into the known. And that's why people would make up things like gods and different superstitions. But according to things I've been reading lately, here in America, as of last year, here's a countdown of the top 10 things that Americans fear. Number 10, high medical bills. I feel that this one is probably rational. It's pretty expensive here to try to maintain a reasonable level of health. Number 9, climate change. This one I find very justified in that there is an overwhelming amount of data that shows this actually is occurring. I've provided a couple links here that lead you to many, many more links that justify this fear. The only thing I don't understand here is why it's only at number 9. Number 8, extinction of plant and animal species. There are several reasons for this happening. I would argue that one of them, partially at least, is due to number 9, but also because of habitat loss, introductions of species into areas where they're not naturally from, also pollution and population growth. Stop having so many fucking babies. Again, links are in the description. Number 7, air pollution. I think it's good that even though this one's all the way down at number 7, it is above number 9 because it's a huge part of what's causing number 9. Number 6, people that we love dying. Sad as that is, it's something that we all have to face, and it's inevitable. It's going to happen. So I have a problem understanding why that's above other things that are going to cause this to happen faster for some people. Number 5, loved ones becoming seriously ill. I understand this one. That is heartbreaking when somebody contracts an illness or condition that's going to cause them to suffer and possibly die. We're all gonna die. Can we just die without all the suffering? It's at number 5, which is above people actually dying. So to me, that one makes sense. Number 4, not having enough money for the future. Very much understandable. I have this one myself. You need money to survive, especially in this country. And if you run into one of those high medical bills, like in number 10, this is even more concerning. Number 3, polluted drinking water. Everybody needs water, and that water needs to be clean. I'm looking at you, anti-regulation folks. There's an actual polluted water crisis about 30-35 miles from where I'm sitting right now. Flint's water has been fucked up for a minute. Number 2, pollution of oceans, rivers, and lakes. I know we don't drink ocean water, but that's an ecosystem, and we very much need that. Number 1, corruption of government officials. I'm sort of mixed on this one. A lot of people that claim they're worried about corruption, or that they want to
drain the swamp,
have voted in corruption incarnate. Good job. Not saying that any people I have voted for are not corrupt in some form or another. But when I become aware, when it's become demonstrable that they are corrupt in some form, I call them out. I don't fillet them. That was a list of the top 10 things that Americans fear as of 2018, 1 year ago at the time that this video was made. I find every last one of them quite rational as far as what the fears are, which gives me just a smidgen of, I don't know, hope. But the order that they're in, I find a little less rational, which actually gives me a bit of fear.
A special shout out to my latest subscriber, David Godby II. Thanks, brother.
Listen to me.
Thank you. Wow, what a terrific audience.
I only have one question.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
I confess it. Crimes in the series are beyond counting.
It's fun. Look at the fun we're having.
It was good. It was great.
I hate you!
You suck.
Why not simply share?
You drunk. Don't take it personally. I don't entirely trust myself. Oh. Are we friends now?
Stop that. You're making me uncomfortable. Evil notions in my head.
You think you bad, huh?
Woo, woo, woo. You hear that?
Suck it, partner.